All right, all right. Good afternoon, evening, morning, depending on when you are watching this. My name is Bobby Staten, Chief of Clarity, and I am honored to be here today with Dr. Nicole McCarty, owner of the Well-U Bar. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
How you doing today?
Doing well. Living this quarantine life and then just being grateful.
Yeah, I think that's all we can do at this point, right?
Yeah,
It's every day presents some new challenges, but there's several things to still be grateful for as well, right? So I hear you on that.
life. Life.
Right,
And the first
exactly. That's
of
exactly what it is.
life.
That's exactly what it is. So, Doc, I'm gonna call you Doc for sure, if that's all right. Tell me a little more about, I introduced you as the owner of the Well-U Bar, but tell me a little more about your actual background. Today, the focus of the discussion is really around, ergonomics. Now, as you mentioned, quarantine life, so on and so forth. A lot of people are working from home. People who would typically be in an office environment, who are used to having their things set up the way that they normally are, their risers and so on and so forth, are now trying to find ways to make it work at home. While chasing kids around, having conversations, sidebars or what have you, and trying not to be hunched over a workstation. But before we get into all of that, help the audience kind of understand more about your expertise and background before we get into some of the technical questions, if you will.
Well, Dr. Nicole McCarty or Doc or whatever, whatever government name, I don't care.
Yeah, sure.
um, but I am a chiropractor, and as you mentioned, I do play in several other lanes, but they all kind of fall under the same umbrella, right? So, um, right now I'm transitioning, or for the past few months, if you will, I'll say I'm transitioning from a physical practice,
Mm,
and actually I plan on doing this before the whole coronavirus
right.
pandemic. So, um, God's timing is perfect. And I'm transitioning to a virtual online platform. So,
Okay.
yes, I'm a sports chiropractor, but I'm also more of an integrative health doctor and wellness coach.
Yeah.
So, helping people to um, really find their health and make it a priority
Yeah.
uh, from the inside out. And so sometimes, a lot of people, they chase I want to look like this person, I want to look like this person. Um, but if the inside is trash, you ain't gonna live very long. So it's kind of health from the inside out. I adjunct professor at Life University. I'm yoga instructor. My niche is a yoga from a Christian perspective.
Mhm.
So that's fun.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
I
soft
need
tissue
some of that.
specialist, kind
My
of stuff.
limbs are tight. You hear me?
It's yoga in your life,
Yeah,
okay?
for
It's
sure.
for yoga in your life.
Sure. That
But yeah, all
flexibility is
that.
key. Now, I think you might have missed one thing too. Doula, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I am a birth doula. Yeah.
Gotcha.
See, but all of
See,
it is natural and holistic and
that's
under
it.
the
And it's all
umbrella of
connected to
wellness.
health. That's
Yes.
the main thing, right? Where it's how many different layers and dimensions of health are represented to, again, represent a well you. So
Hey, well, you come through,
I
Bobby.
love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So let's talk about several different things. Doc, we have known each other for years. And so you and I
Mhm.
have had several conversations over the course of time around what health looks like, you
Mhm.
know, whether it's stemming from your first love, if you will, chiropractics and understanding the importance of how spinal health, really impacts your entire body. And, a lot of the other things that you are, now continuing to build practice around with
Mhm.
respect to nutrition, exercise, so on and so forth, yoga, etc. But today, if we can kind of start from a spinal health perspective, I really want to, I'll
Okay.
never forget, one of the conversations that we had was when you really helped me to understand just how important spinal health was. I think for the layman, when we think about our spinal cord and our backbone, it's like, okay, that's the thing that helps us stand and walk, which, you know, it's factual, but there's so much more that's tied to that. Can you share with us just a little bit around like the spinal system and how it truly is like a highway to so many different aspects of our physical, emotional, mental health? You know, I'll stop there. I don't want to steal your thunder, but share a little more.
Still thunder. So yeah. First, it's important to know that like structure yields function.
Mm,
So when God was creating us, He didn't just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what would stick. Like that's
right.
not, it was all very purposefully designed. And so when we look at
Mm-hmm.
our spine consists of 32 bones. Okay, 26 of those are mobile, if you will, and that includes the sacrum and the coccyx. Those are the
Okay.
bones that kind of go down the center of the buttocks,
Right.
right? So we have these bones that go down our spine, and they're square shaped. Excuse me. And through these bones travels our spinal cord, which is very, very important,
Yeah,
vital
for sure. For sure.
for our life. And then from at each level on the spinal cord, we have specific nerves that branch out at each level, and those nerves travel everywhere. I mean, they
Right.
tell your legs to move, your heart to beat, your lungs to
Right.
breathe, your stomach to digest, all that jazz, right? And so that's kind of the general structure of the spine. Now, the spinal cord kind of acts as a relay station. So it sends messages to and from the brain. So the brain says, hey, tell the legs to walk over to I don't know, the door and open it.
Right.
And sends the message to the legs. As the legs move, it sends messages back to the brain saying, hey, I'm actually doing what you told me to do. So it acts as a relay station for sending messages back and forth. And typically, at those sections where those holes in the spine, we call those bones in the spine vertebrae, right? So at the vertebrae, there are little holes that the nerves travel through.
Mm,
And in a healthy, aligned spine, there's no problem. Things move back and forth freely. The problem comes in when there's a misalignment. Think of a puzzle piece that's not quite in the place
right.
where it should be.
Yeah.
Uh, or even cell phone bars. Like, can you hear me now at 1 bar is a whole lot different than can you hear me now at 5 bars,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So, so I said all to say.
No, I'm
Sorry.
following you. Yes.
No, I don't want to get long-winded, but when there are misalignments and breakdowns or degeneration in those holes, that hole that's supposed to be this big suddenly gets a little smaller. And so anything that's
Ah,
traveling through there, that puts pressure on the nerve.
okay.
So if I'm using an analogy, let's go with traffic, highways.
Right.
We all drive. If you don't drive, then you see cars
Right.
driving in interstate, right? So have you ever been like going on a trip and you leave at the wee hours of the morning, like
Hmm.
2 o'clock in the morning?
That's my
I mean,
preference. I don't like
listen,
driving when everybody else is on the road. Let me leave early in the morning. Absolutely.
exactly. Open road, got the wind blowing through your hair or on your head,
Right.
and like it's great. There's no traffic.
Right.
I mean, hopefully there's no construction. This is Atlanta, so we know that construction is always a thing, but there's no traffic, there's no construction, there's no accidents. You can get to where you're going.
Right.
So that is when there's free and clear. There are no misalignments, there's no degeneration, the hole is the way it's supposed to be, everything is flowing fine, right?
Right.
But I'm sure we've all been on the road and seen
Oh,
that sea of red with brake lights and things start to stop and you're like, well,
right.
what's happening? We were
Right.
doing so well.
Right.
And that traffic, due to an abundance of traffic, an accident, a stalled car, construction, or whatever. But that's exactly what happens. That traffic slows down. So those messages also slow down when you have junk, bone, debris, whatever, putting pressure on the nerve. Things can't flow the way they should.
Got you. And so so when you have a situation like that, when you have essentially that traffic jam, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
how does that manifest in, you know, your bodily function? Like, what are some of the things that people can experience, when you're not properly adjusted, if you would?
Hmm. Uh, Pain, tightness of muscles. If you've ever been like tight in the neck and you find yourself, just stretching and you
Right,
can't quite get comfortable.
right.
Uh, Even difficulty breathing, things like asthma, or allergies,
Mm,
or you know even if you've gone up the stairs and you're like, I've never been huffing and puffing when I got at the top of the stairs. What's going on?
right.
It probably means that a nerve is compressed somewhere and it's influencing the function of that organ that's connected to that nerve, or the function of that muscle that's connected to that nerve.
Because the message is being,
Clouded,
there you go.
impeded.
Ding!
Mm-hmm.
Stop right there, y'all. We don't need to talk about nothing else. That's it. But no, so what I'm hearing from you truly is, wow. So when that message gets clouded
Mm-hmm.
or jumbled by way of essentially obstruction in the
Mm-hmm.
channel that is a part of your spinal system, where signals are sent from limbs, organs, etc., to other areas, or specifically your brain,
Mm-hmm.
all those things are connected. So your spinal system dysfunction could be the reason why you're experiencing allergies that you think are seasonal.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay.
Huh?
Well, all right. So then that sets us up well then. Now that I understand that, one, I need to book an appointment. Two, the second thing is thinking through. So now again, we're talking about this COVID season. We're quarantining, folks are at home. And I think the piece that most people overlook, because it's very easy for us to kind of nestle into our place of comfort, where we're sitting on the couch and the laptop is in our lap, or, the
Mm-hmm.
computer is sitting on a TV, dinner tray, or whatever the case may be, and really not take note of our posture. So we think about, like, understanding now what we do about the spinal system and the importance of health, right? There's several different ways it may manifest. But if we're really just looking at the posture piece, right? What, for people who are working from home, what does proper posture look like? Like, what are ways that they can almost self-assess and say, I probably need to work on some
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a 2-for-1 this time.
things? Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Look, now don't send me 2 invoices. This
Got you. Okay, so go hybrid, doctor standpoint combined with yoga teacher standpoint, right?
I love it. Let's
Mhm.
go.
So when we talk about good posture is good posture. It's good posture. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're working. It doesn't matter if you're, I don't know, nursing a kid. You know, it just
Right.
doesn't matter. Good posture is good posture,
Okay.
and we won't always have it. We try, but we just
Yeah,
won't always have it.
sure.
We always have to be on guard, right, and check. And whenever we do remember, just kind of, all right, need to get it together and kind of reset.
Right.
So I want you to do an exercise for me, Bobby.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. All right, and everyone else, y'all can join in too.
Okay.
So first, I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Okay. And if you make sure you're in a safe space, of course.
I
Right.
am.
Okay. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale out through your mouth.
Okay. That felt good.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to keep your eyes closed. Hold on to the sound of my voice. I keep the eyes closed, one, so that you can really feel what's happening in the body. So you remove one sense and it heightens all the others. So hold on to the sound of my voice. Ensure that your feet, both of them, are flat on the floor. Okay. If you're seated, you want your knees and your hips at about a 90-degree angle so that your lower legs or your shins are perpendicular to the floor, kind of like a T.
Mm-hmm.
And then your thighs or your upper legs are parallel to the floor.
Okay.
Right. If you have a tendency to shift your weight in your hips, then simply rock to the right side, kind of lean on that right hip, and then lean on the left hip, and then find the center.
Got it.
You know, good, 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 good. And then you want to sit up nice and tall and straight and erect, okay, by lifting your spine up towards the ceiling, okay? And oftentimes in doing this, people tend to increase the curvature in their low back. We call that a lordosis. And so to remedy this, arch your back like you're tilting your hips or sticking your butt out.
Okay.
And then rock your hips as if you're kind of pulling your butt under, and then find the halfway point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. And going from one extreme to the other kind of helps people find the halfway point as opposed to just finding it off rip, right? Yeah. So now that you're there, we don't want you to look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You don't, just saying, right? But go ahead and relax, roll your shoulders up and then down and back, kind of resting your scapula or your shoulder blades on the back of your ribs.
Okay.
Yeah. Take your index finger of either hand, put it on your chin, and gently push your head over your shoulder. Sometimes it kind of creeps forward. So just up, not up, but back. So bring it back down and just push it straight back.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
And make sure you're breathing through this. And then of course your arms, if you're reading or working on a computer or at a desk like we are, then you want your elbows at 90 degrees, allowing your forearms to be parallel to the floor. And your wrist, of course, in a neutral position.
Yes.
Okay. So you can open your eyes, but that's a good way.
Wow. I don't even look the same on camera.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's to reset your body, right?
Absolutely.
And then, you bring in that breath, and who doesn't need to take a deep breath every few minutes, right? So, so that's going to be your posture. Your shoulders are back, your knees are at 90 degrees, your elbows are 90 degrees or in a shape of an L, your wrists are neutral. You want to make sure that you're taking a break every 10 minutes, not every 10 minutes, but 10 minutes every hour.
Yep.
Which most people complain about. They're like, no, because I get started on something and I don't want to get up. I'm like, I get it, but you accomplish more when you feel better.
Yeah.
And when you're strained, you can only accomplish so much.
Yeah, for sure.
So you want to take those breaks and then, of course, check your posture every 10 or 15 minutes because inevitably we'll fall back into comfort land.
And that's what I was going to ask too. I mean, so while this feels amazing, it does not feel natural.
Mm-mm.
So it's like, is this one of those things where once you do it, you almost have to, through repetition, train your body and train your muscles to now hold this position? Wow.
Yeah, you want to break bad habits and reinforce new ones, good ones.
Sure.
So set an alarm on your phone every 10 or 15 minutes and reset. And it does, it took us, I kind of walked you all through.
Yeah.
But even once you kind of get the hang of it, you'll know the things you need to fix. You'll be like, oh shoot, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of go back to work. It takes less than 3 seconds to reset. Once you get the hang of it. But yeah, you do want to check your phone every 10 to 15 minutes, or not check your phone, but set an alarm, just or vibrate or whatever.
Right.
And reset.
So let me ask this question too then. Does this fall into the 21-day system where it's like, if you do it for 21 days, you're more than likely to not make it a habit, but your body will gradually adjust? How long would someone need to attentively make changes to their posture where it becomes a new normal, if you will?
That's a difficult one to answer.
Because it probably depends on the person, right?
It does. It does. I mean, everyone's body is different. Everyone's got different micro traumas and macro traumas that they're kind of working with.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Does it generally take longer than 21 days? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It took you 21 years to learn this posture. So.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. This is good. I mean, I feel like I'm going to try to sit like this for the rest of this call, because I want to, now that I have an awareness, I think it's what it's exposing for me is the lack of strength in my lower back,
Uh-huh.
because I'm having to engage those muscles to stay upright.
Mm-hmm. Without going into an abnormal posture,
Right.
which is why you have to find which is why I have you go into extremes to
Hmm.
find the halfway point.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the extreme might feel like a halfway point when
Yeah,
it's not.
exactly. Exactly. That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So,
Yeah.
um, another question I had that I wanted to throw at you was thinking through. So now, I've got my posture, I have kind of an idea of, you know, here's what it should feel like to
Mm-hmm.
be, in decent posture. But my environment may not necessarily be conducive to that, right? So, like, now, me, from an entrepreneur's perspective, I'm like, listen, I don't have this fluffy ergonomics budget, that's sponsored by my corporation to go and spend $1,500 on a whole new workstation, right? But
Uh-huh.
for somebody, just your regular, person working from home who wants to make sure that they have the right environment piece, what are some things that they should be like aware of, or even some things that they may have at home that they're not even thinking about that could be suitable to maintaining proper posture while working?
Okay, so the first thing is not a couch.
Ah,
Not a
okay.
couch.
That's a no-no. Okay, I got
No couch.
you. Get off the couch.
So listen, I'll tell you, that's probably the worst thing you can do. How do I know? Because I did it at the beginning of this work from home season.
Yeah,
Okay?
same here.
I was, full disclosure, I was a little lazy. Like the kid station was set up down there. The baby was there. I just didn't want to move.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I get
But
it.
eventually, though, my body was like, so I'm going to need you to
Right.
relocate before
Yeah,
we have some problems.
yeah, for sure.
So, so definitely not the couch. It will
Okay.
wreak havoc. I mean, absolute havoc on your musculoskeletal system. It'll make you feel like you've been hit by a truck. Um,
So
so if
that'll
you,
explain why I'm sore when I wake up in the morning. Check.
oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
Got you.
yeah. Couch is a blessing, but sometimes couch is devil. You just be
Mhm.
like, that plastic.
Yeah, it's good when you're trying to relax, but definitely not something you want to be doing for 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
Nope, not at all.
Got you.
But if you don't have a desk, though, you can use a table. So a table works just fine. It can be something as simple as a card table, a
Wow.
patio table, dining room table. Most have that. If you don't have a dining room table, then you have a breakfast bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coffee table, even a coffee table. Granted, you can't scoot a chair under a coffee table, but you can just adjust your seating to sit on your bum, and you
Got you.
know use pillows to adjust. So the best thing is to have a table and not a lap desk, for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Namely, you don't want a laptop just sitting in your lap for that long.
Yeah.
That's not healthy for your reproductive organs. It's just not healthy.
Wait, pause. Y'all missed that. Keep stuff out of your lap. It has impact to your reproductive organs. That's key.
It
When I
is.
edit this, I'm gonna put that in bold. Like, listen,
It is.
keep
But
stuff
we're all
out of your
guilty
lap.
of it, though. We're all guilty of it,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I make a point. I like, oh, not on my lap.
These
Not.
things
Yeah.
stay in your lap. Absolutely.
Yeah. Stay in your lap, on your person, in your back pocket,
Right.
so you don't want it on your lap. You want to have a table.
Okay.
Um, Proper level, the keyboard should be at elbow level, and the monitor should be slightly below eye height. Okay, so that's traditionally what you want. Now, um, your monitor should be between 20 to 40 inches, or at least an arm's length away.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, if you're on a laptop,
Let's
that's
make sure
smaller.
it's good. Okay. Got it.
Like check it. On a laptop, it's toward the lower end, right? Laptop or smaller screen. And then as your screen increases, then the distance should increase.
Right,
And
right.
I mean, it goes along with what our parents told us when we were little and watching television, right? You don't sit too close to the TV screen,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
What?
same
Look on the
concept.
screen.
Be this close.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, eye strain and body strain. Whew, eye strain is horrible. And if you've ever worked on electronics for a long period of time, you know what eye strain feels like. You might not think you know, but when you
Right.
finish and you're exhausted, like you just feel like you just need to go to sleep and take a nap,
Yeah,
that's eye strain.
that's eye strain.
And
Okay.
mhm, that's that eye strain. Or if your vision starts to get blurry. So
Hmm.
you're able to see, and then all of a sudden you find yourself doing this.
Yeah, yeah, having to creep in and creep out. Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Interesting.
So all of that's eye strain. So you want to um, give yourself breaks. To reduce eye strain, we use the 20-20-20 rule. And this was an easy one to remember. I always think Barbara Walters, this is 2020.
Ah.
Or we could think of this crazy year we've had. Hmm. Like everything has happened this year. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
true.
But you think of the 20-20-20 rule where you take a 20-second break
Okay.
every 20 minutes,
Yep.
and you look at something, anything, doesn't matter what it is, that's at least 20 feet away. So 20,
During the 20-minute break.
no, 20-second break.
Sorry. 20-second break.
Break every 20 minutes
Yes.
and look at something at
20
least
feet
20 feet
away.
away. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So that
And that'll,
doesn't mean go from one screen to another.
no.
Yeah, I need. Yeah, okay. I'm just saying we have to make this plain for the people because they would think, oh, that means that I can go from my laptop screen to my phone, check Instagram real quick to give my eyes a break. That's
But
not
your
the case.
phone isn't 20 feet away though.
Correct. So even if you tried to hold it out,
It ain't gonna make it.
it never.
It ain't. Not unless you're the dude from was it the Fantastic Four?
I was thinking Inspector Gadget. Inspector
Yep,
Gadget always had
yep,
the.
yep. Da-da-da-da-da. Inspector
Exactly, Gadget. Exactly,
Gadget. You
exactly.
know we're telling our age, right?
Yeah, we really are. Because
Yeah.
look, most folks will listen to this and be like, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Right.
Too funny.
So yeah, but
Okay,
yeah, you
so
definitely
20,
want to use
20,
the
20
20,
rule.
20,
Every
20.
20 seconds, no, 20-second break. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away. That's easy enough to remember. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 20-second break every 20 minutes. Look at something 20 feet away. Yep. And then body strain, you can reduce that by just doing stretches, which most people do anyway. They're
Okay,
kind of, stretching their chair, but get up, walk around, stretch up toward the ceiling, reach down, touch your toes.
there you go.
Try not to, when you're scheduling your day, try not to schedule, you know, with longer blocks of time where you have to be seated. And if you have a meeting, I'm sure you have headsets or Bluetooth headsets or whatever. Get up, walk around, pace, stand up, break up the monotony.
Got you. Got you. No, I like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I am going to, let's take a quick break because you have
Okay.
now inspired me to reset my whole workstation. I want to make sure that my monitor is appropriate. So I'm going to hit pause on this recording and then we'll jump right back into it.
Okay.
One second.
All right.